You are not afraid of failing. Let me say that again. You are not afraid of failing. You are afraid of being seen failing. And that's different. The difference? It's why you stop trying before anyone knows you started. Why you quit in private. Why your dreams stay rehearsed in your head but never performed in the world. Let's talk about it. So you've done this before. Started something, felt the spark, told yourself, this time it's different. And then you stopped. Not because you failed. You stopped before you even got close to failing. You stopped at the beginning when no one was watching yet. Maybe it was the business idea you researched for months but never launched. The course you bought but never finished. The creative project you started in private and abandoned before anyone could ask about it. You tell yourself it's about timing, about readiness, about waiting for the right moment, the right resources, the right version of you. But here's what you don't say out loud. You stopped because you were terrified someone might see you trying and failing and judge you for both. So you keep your ambitions small, your efforts invisible, your failures non-existent. Because if no one sees you try, no one could see you failing. Safe, quiet, stuck. Here's the truth. Failure isn't the enemy. Visibility is. Failure in private, that's manageable. That's a secret you can bury. A story you can rewrite. A version of yourself no one has to know about. But failure in public, that's permanent. That's a scar people can see. That's proof you weren't good enough, fast enough, or smart enough. And once people see that, you can't unsee it. You can't take it back. So you protect yourself the only way you know how. By never being seen trying in the first place. You rehearse success in your mind. You plan, you prepare. You wait for the moment when you'll be good enough that failure isn't even a possibility. But here's what that really means. You are waiting for a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. And the only way to become that person is to fail your way there. The only failure that is guaranteed is the one where you don't show up at all. And you are already living that failure. Every day. In silence. I knew someone who wanted to be a writer. Talked about it constantly. Had notebook full of ideas. Spent years preparing to write their first piece. But they never published anything. Not a blog, not a Twitter thread, not even a LinkedIn post. When I asked why, they said, I am not ready yet. I need to get better first. Translation? I am terrified people will read it and think I am not a real writer. So they kept writing in private. Perfecting sentences no one will ever read. Building a skill no one would ever witness. One day, someone asked them, what do you do? And they said, I am working in marketing. Not I am a writer. Because if you never show your work, you never have to defend it. You never have to face the possibility that you are not as good as you thought. But here's what they didn't realize. Every writer they admired had published their bad work. Every single one. The difference wasn't talent. It was courage. The willingness to be seen before they were ready. The willingness to fail publicly and still keep on going anyway. Here's what most people miss. You think you are protecting yourself from failure, but you are actually protecting yourself from being known. And that's a different kind of loss entirely. Let me reframe this for you. You are not afraid of failing. You are afraid of being seen as someone who fails. There's a gap between these two things. And that gap is where your entire life is hiding. Because the thing is, People who matter don't care if you fail. They care if you show up. They respect the attempt more than the outcome. The stranger at the gym is not judging you for lifting light weights. They are remembering when they started. The person scrolling past your first post isn't laughing at your inexperience. They are either inspired or indifferent. Never cruel in the way you imagine. The version of you that people judge harshly, that version exists only in your head. In reality, most people are too busy worrying about their own visibility to scrutinize yours. And the ones who do judge, they are the ones who never tried. They are the ones who are living the same invisible fear that you are trying to avoid. Their opinions are just projections of their own fear. So here's the shift. Stop asking, what if I fail and people see? Start asking, what if I succeed and no one ever knew I tried? Because that's the real tragedy. Not public failure, private absence. Being the person who had potential but never tested it. Who had ideas but never voiced them. Who had dreams but never chased them. That version of you, you are already living it. And it's killing you slowly. Look, I am not saying failure doesn't hurt. Being seen when you are not ready, that's uncomfortable. Exposing your work, your effort, your imperfect attempts, that takes everything you have. But here's what I know. The fear of being seen is worse than the reality of being seen. Because once you show up, once you try in public, once you let people witness your process, not just your results, something changes. You stop living for an imagined future version of yourself who's ready. You start living as the person you are right now. Imperfect, trying, visible. And that version of you, the one who shows up afraid and does it anyway, that's the only version that ever gets anywhere. The invisible version, the one who waits, who prepares, who protects, that version stays exactly where you are. Forever. Regret isn't about what you tried and failed at. It's about what you never tried because you were afraid of being seen trying. So the question isn't what if I fail? The question is, what version of myself am I willing to let die in silence? Here's what I want you to do. Don't comment yet. Don't tell me you are going to start tomorrow. Instead, sit with this question. What's something you stopped trying because you were afraid of what people would think? Not what they'd say if you failed, what they'd think while you were trying. Write it down. For yourself, not for me. Not for anyone else. And then ask yourself, is protecting that fear worth the life that you are not living? I'll see you in the next one.